Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Icon video. And today we're going to be talking about the topic of not heroism, but characterization in your everyday life. And this is kind of a weird question to ask, even in a business sense, because it is something that applies to all sorts of different situations, I would say. And that question is, are you the hero in your own story, and how does that play into your everyday dealings, right? And this is a weird question even for me, because I think that for most of the time I want to be the hero, but at the same time I'm also the villain.
Oh, wow.
And it's just going to keep getting confusing from there. So Lee, you were actually the one that kind of posed this question to me. What are your first kind of thoughts to this question?
Okay, but I brought the question up a while ago. I don't know. I can't say what my mindset was at the time that I brought it up, but I remember I want to talk about it. I'm thinking from where I think I would have been thinking from when I thought of it. So I guess my thought process at the time was like, I know for me, I'm always considering myself the main character of my story. I always feel like I progress the action of the plot of life that I go through. I look at everybody else. I guess they're sub characters, and everything I do controls the movement of what they do. Is where I'm going with it. It's a pretty narcissistic mindset, but that's how I go with it. So I was just wondering from other people's perspective, because I don't talk to a lot of people about it, but I just want if everybody else feels like it, because I'm like, if I feel like I'm the main character and I progress everyone else, then what do they feel and what do they think about my position in life? I just want to know how that affects other people and how does it motivate them or control their actions and what they think about life and how they progress through it.
Yeah, totally. That makes plenty of sense. A lot of people have this. I even have this kind of thought process myself. It's kind of a popular opinion in our society, honestly, that everybody's telling their own story. And from my perspective, I just tend to, because I'm the only one, like I'm the narrator of the story, I don't actually think of myself as a hero half the time, which is kind of weird.
I actually want you to step on that, Jake. Talk about that. Say you're the villain. I've never considered myself a villain. I mean, I don't think I do bad stuff. I guess I do some bad stuff. I guess I think other people see me as a villain, but I've never seen myself as a villain, I guess.
So before we preface the rest of the video, I'll probably put a disclaimer in the beginning. Neither of us are English majors, or neither of us really have a conjecture with the English sort of discipline when it comes to telling stories. From what I understand,
go, Jake.
Well, see, like, here's the thing, Ollie. Like, when you look at stories, I can't think of the name of the story at the top of my head, but when you look at a story in general, the protagonist or hero is usually the person that is telling the story, where the antagonist is going to be the person, villain, who's going against the story, right? Okay. So, in a sense, it isn't a person who's doing something evil inherently that has to be the villain all the time. It could be police officers sometimes. It could be your own family. It could be world leaders who could be a villain in someone's story potentially. It doesn't necessarily make them evil, right? And the reason why I say that is because in mine, I think I'm my own villain sometimes, because I get in the way of things that I want to do to proceed with some of my stories, right? So that is one way I kind of see it, is I'm sometimes the reason why I'm not doing my best. So therefore it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
I think the better term to call yourself, like, you're an obstacle to yourself. I think calling yourself your own villain is kind of like, because I feel like to be a villain, you have to commit actions against somebody else. And if you're saying only committing actions against yourself, I think you're like more closer to like, you're the challenge that you have to overcome as a hero rather than a villain. Because when you say you're a villain, I'm like, Jake's out here like taking candy from babies on the street and stuff.
Right.
My first thought is like, I'm a villain.
Right. But at the same time, I'm just going off the definition of an antagonist. I only bring it up because my freshman year of high school, I got a question wrong on this easy test. Who is the antagonist? I was like, this person. I have to remember this book. I can't remember it, but literally this whole story is told from the narrator's perspective, which was your protagonist because he's the one we know his story.
Okay.
Now, this narrator was telling the story of, or he was like being the protagonist to an antagonist of a different story, but it was telling it in almost in a way that made you root for this kid.
Okay.
Like this kid, yeah, right. This kid was like the good guy because he was good. The narrator was kind of a not nice person throughout the story. He was just kind of a bully, and we weren't rooting for him. We were rooting for the antagonist of the story for this whole thing. And traditionally, when you're in a story, you root for the protagonist unless it's like an anti-hero thing or something. And it's just like, right?
I'm gonna talk about that, Jay, because I think like our culture is like shifting that like a lot. Because you look at like media and stuff, and I'm looking at my own self watching media. I'm not gonna. I root for the bad guy like way more often than like as me as a younger guy. Like I want like the superhero to win. Like I don't know. I think I watched a lot of like tragic hero stories where I'm like understanding more why the bad guy does the bad guy stuff, and like I think I'm building more of a sympathetic view towards that because I feel like a lot of stories we grew up on, like the bad guy, I feel like they did a lot of things for no reason. We never got like a backstory to like why this guy's a a-hole, but now we're getting like that backstory, like, oh, he had a terrible upbringing. He was raised in an environment where this was the only way he knew how to like progress and behave. And now I'm starting to like see that, and I'm really, you know, attacking it from the mindset of like, okay, why is he doing this? Before I say, okay, this is bad, I'm saying, okay, if he's doing this and he has like a afterthought, like an effect he wants it to have, maybe you gotta, you know, crush a couple eggs to make that omelet. You know what I'm saying?
Couple. Yeah, right. And it's because then it's all based on your own personal kind of virtue when it comes to heroes and villains at that point. I was like, that is actually a trend that we're seeing through like the comic book standpoint or the comic book universe, as well as other forms of media, is that people are starting to like try to relate to more characters, and they're making characters more relatable, and you're just saying, why is he doing this? And then you get to see why he's doing it, and then you justify it, and it makes sense. Like, it's still evil because, you know, it's somebody being a vigilante. Like Batman, if you think about it, might be a villain in some stories.
I'm thinking though. I think that's okay. That goes back to why we started this video, because obviously from the viewer's perspective, from us, the third party, we all see him as a hero because it's told in a way that makes him look heroic. But if we were told about Batman from the eye of like one of the villains, like Two-Face was telling Batman his story, you'd be like, oh, this is a guy that comes out at night in a costume and just beats up on people. And we look at it like that. So it's a question of like, how do you determine who's the main character and like what viewpoint should you look at it from? Because like you said, Batman could, from certain people's point of view, be looked as a bad guy. Like I know maybe some people who use like they're funded by the crime in Gotham, like the police department, they're losing jobs because they don't have more work because Batman's out here working like overtime on the night shift. So these guys, they can't feed their family and stuff, and they're like, we hate Batman. Like this is a police job. Why is he doing this? He's not a employee of the like state. So a lot of people could be looking at it like that. So talking to Jay, what do you think?
So we're gonna stop mentioning Batman because I was gonna start talking about Batman again, but I'm gonna stop. But I know, me too. I didn't even mean to say he's gonna be a villain. But anyway, like it just depends. It also depends on like the point of view too. Like there's so many different things. Some people I don't think of themselves as a hero. I don't think people are thinking that. I would say for me, like sometimes when I'm really in the mood to like be productive or something, Rightful Icon actually becomes the main character, the hero in my story, because I want to like actually do things with this brand. I really believe it in my whole sincerity. Like I'm putting myself behind it, I'm putting my friends behind it, resources, everything. I'm trying to push this forward and trying to write details into it so that other people can relate to our story, kind of.
Okay.
And when you start doing something like that, all of a sudden I become a secondary character. Or if I'm, yeah, like a foil or a side character. Somebody who's, and what?
Okay, that goes to my next question, Jake. That goes to my next question, actually. Do you think you can still do great things from the perspective of a secondary character? Like make movements that are gonna like change or shape the world from like, you know, I got the opinion that I'm not like the main character. I'm the guy who works behind the main character. Do you still think that you have the ability to affect change in the world?
So the very first thing that comes on the top of my head when I hear secondary character is actually feminism with the first ladies. I almost said the second ladies, like Michelle Obama and I'm not gonna say Ivanka.
Okay.
Michelle Obama and I can't remember her name. Or other kind of women that have stood behind our stronger male characters. They have been, yeah. They have been the. I don't want to say just female characters can be this, because obviously husbands can also be people who really support somebody else doing something great. Just because you're on the sidelines doesn't mean you're not helping. Like a coach, he's the ultimate side character, if you think about it, because he's controlling what all the players are doing, but it's not his story. I can't think of a single coach, but I can think of maybe like one or two players. Like I can't think of it, who the coach was that was able to handle Michael Jordan's greatness, but he still knew how to put him in spots. Ali.
I know all the coaches, Jake. I know all the great coaches.
You know, I know.
You're a great coach to win the game.
I know, but at the same time, like, you see what I'm saying, though.
No,
like sometimes a secondary character.
If you're gonna go Michael Jordan, you could have picked Scottie Pippen as a secondary, Jake.
I don't know enough characters, okay?
Oh well, Scottie Pippen's he's like the secondary to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, he's like the number 2. Every time they won, he was there with him. So he needed him every single time. That's a great example of like a secondary character where like things wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the secondary. Like Mike never won without Scottie, not even once.
And that is just a prevailing message that we have all the time in the stories throughout history. I can't think of many stories that don't have secondary characters in it that actually help to basically succeed in a goal, unless it's purposefully written in a way that makes it so there's absolutely no support whatsoever for the main character, like 127 Days. That is like the only story off the top of my head that I can think of that there's nobody else but just one guy.
I agree with that.
Right?
Okay. My thing with it is I think I have a problem with feeling empowered in the position of a secondary character. Like I always want to do like amazing things. I want to help people out, but I don't know how to feel like being like the second guy, because I always want to be like the catalyst. Like, you know, I want to make things move if they have to be moved. That's like my like thought pattern with everything I do. So I think that's why I brought the question up. If like, do you always feel like the main character in your like stories? Because I don't know how to move if I don't feel like the main character. You know, like I can't feel like myself in a secondary position, and that's the real struggle I'm having. So I'm trying to like find like techniques I can use to make me feel more like in control, as outside of like that front row seat. Like I want to feel like I want to feel as powerful as I would there in a different position in life.
Right. And that is always like a difficult place to be in, because in my opinion, I don't care about being the main character. I would rather be the author. I'd rather be the author of the story sometimes, right? Because so what I mean by that is I would rather be the one writing the stories than be the one who's actively participating in the story.
Okay, I understand that.
Which you could spin to say that is similar to what you want to be able to do. You don't have to necessarily be the one always succeeding, but you could be the one who's setting up every single person to succeed based on the story you might write.
Okay. I guess
Okay,
that's somewhere I'm going as far as like that idea of being the catalyst that like pushes like action forward and stuff. I guess the Arthur would be the ultimate catalyst because nothing happens without the Arthur. So
exactly,
that's great.
exactly.
Okay.
That is at least how I try to do it. Whenever I am doing anything, I don't try to be the center of attention. Like, unless I specifically know that it'll be an advantage for me to be the center of attention. So I will try my hardest to make sure that the goal gets accomplished and keep myself out of the story if I have to, depending on what project it is. So if it's like something like Rightful Icon, right now, Ali, you and I, we're pretty prominent right now.
Yeah.
At the top in front of the brand. But what I would prefer, right? But what I would prefer is that eventually we start having other people kind of take ownership within the brand and actually step forward with their own stories and their own ideas, and we'd be able to help them develop them.
Oh, always.
Right?
I mean, that's something we're working on right now. Yeah, we're working on right now as far as like improving the cast, the supporting cast that comes with this thing we're putting on right now. We're definitely trying to get more people in the videos and stuff. But you know, I don't know. I couldn't imagine somebody else like I said. I'm stuck in it, Jake. I'm stuck in that like main character mindset. Like I don't know how to get out of it. I think we did. What is that video we did on like when you're like stuck in the dogma? I got main character dogma.
Right.
This is terrible, but I think what I need to do is like really. I think it's because of a habit. I think in a lot of activities I do, I'm promoted into that role of like, hey, you're the guy. Go be that guy. Like it's expected at this point. And like, I'm not saying it's tough. I can handle anything in the world, Jake. But
yeah, of course.
I want to be more versatile. Versatility is like what I'm aiming for. I want to be able to be a great supporter of other people's like projects and things and stuff. So that's great. So yeah, we're definitely gonna try that. Like improving our cast and being able to be the best version of ourselves outside of ourselves and the like face of like what we're doing and things. That's what I'm aiming at basically in what we're doing.
See, that's the beautiful thing though about like stories, I want to say, is that you can actually be the author of a story. Like it's not hard. You can change different you can change roles, you can change people, you can switch out plenty of things. It's difficult to do, but it's not like impossible to do, because Ali, we're doing it ourselves like all the time. We're trying to tell stories and whatnot, and the more you do it, the better you can actually get at it. So I wouldn't worry about it. I would just like pay attention to it and try to do it more often. And Ali, I know you can do it. Look at you.
Definitely.
Look at you. That's side character material.
Yeah, it's in me. It's in me for sure. I just don't. It's hard to imagine myself doing it. I know it's in me though.
Very hard. It's very hard. But at the same time, I could say it's hard for me to be the main character then, because I don't like attention that often.
Jake, you gotta love it, Jake. I think that's why we work well, Jake. Because I love it. We work
very well.
I need all eyes on me. Actually, I'm gonna tell you. Funny thing between like Jake, me, and my roommate is we all got this thing about I don't know if you're in on it, Jake. I know me and Brandon, we talk about it all the time, is taking hits. Jake, what you know about taking hits?
I'll take a hit right now.
That's the thing though. We got things with like women. We're like, oh, somebody, like if a girl's with like a cute friend, like somebody has to take the hit, and I'm never the one who volunteers to take the hit. Like I always want to be part of the main action.
Ali, you guys never let me wingman. You think I'm a freaking idiot?
Jake, you're just really awkward in situations like that, Jake.
I know. I'm the perfect wingman. I make you guys look better.
Jake,
I make you guys look great.
You do great, Jake. You do great, but
I do great at making you look great.
We want you to be a main character, Jake. That's my goal. It's because we got. I want to step into the secondary role. Because I don't know.
That's true. That is true. I will admit, every time when we were in school together, there were plenty of times where both of you two tried to push me into the spotlight and get me out of my comfort zone.
Main character.
Love that.
Right?
I love that. Yeah, it's important to do that. I'm going to have you guys do that more often.
We're going to see. Jake. I'll trust you, though.
I need that more often. I miss it actually. I'm stuck in a place where I'm comfortable. I need you guys to push me out of it more.
Okay.
But that is actually the purpose of foils too.
Okay.
The foils with their different, like, I believe how it goes is a foil is a character that has characteristics that makes the main character look or elevates the main character's kind of traits. So in Harry Potter, you have Harry Potter, and then I think a foil is Ron and Hermione.
Okay.
Harry Monk. I mean, those two, right? You got the smart girl, and you got the dumb Ron, and these make Harry look more like an everyman.
I hear you. So yeah, we can be whatever you need, Jake. As long as I'm not the dumb one, we can make it work. We can be your foils.
No, don't worry, Lee. I'm the dumb one. But anyway, thank you guys so much for looking at this video. It's a little bit of a weird one, honestly, but hopefully we're able to provide you guys some values with it. Frankly, I thought it was an interesting take to do, and I'd love to actually do a follow-up video on this one because I'm thinking of a topic right now, but that's besides the point. Ali, do you have any closing thoughts with them?
This was great. This was like one of those like off the top ones. We just threw it out there. It was something that I was thinking about on the top of my mind. So it'd be great if you guys could comment on it, what you think, if you're a main character, if you're a side character, like, and where that has gotten you in life and how it's affected you. But thanks for listening, guys. This was a great time, great chance to talk to you guys and really talk about our experiences and thought processes on this topic.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching the video. You guys know where to go if you want to try to support us. You can go on our website and some of our social media accounts. But otherwise, hopefully you guys have a nice evening.
Yeah.
It's got to be you.
Every time.